Record. We are now officially recording this thing. We're about to get this ball rolling. So if you've seen this on Facebook, if you've seen this on YouTube, it don't matter, Twitter, Instagram, world, wherever you're seeing this at for the first time, go ahead right now if you're seeing this live, in the comments, in the chat, let me know where you're seeing this at, what city and state you representing, what country you representing. Put that in the chats for me. Please do it right now. Also, if you're seeing this on a replay, do me a favor and put hashtag replay, okay, so I can see when we connecting. And make sure you always drop any comments, any notes, any likes, any shares, and things like that. Letting me know what content you do like and what you want to see more of. And also, hey, what content you want to see less of, right? I want to understand that as well, so I know what to do, what not to do, what to start, what to continue, and what to stop. All right. So I did a poll in my Facebook group, and in the poll, basically everyone wanted to basically see these top four things, which was what is Forex, right? Possibly explain that a little bit more. And again, I know I probably may not be able to do it in just one session. Same thing with what is Bitcoin. Those were the top two, of course. And then the next two were about stocks and Robinhood, and I can't think what the other one was, but I'll figure that out. I had to go back to it, but I know Robinhood was the Coinbase, right? Coinbase was one too. How to use Coinbase and buy and sell Bitcoin on there. So kind of want to start off with some education, some terminology, some small things like that. Really starting from the basics. I always like to go back to the basics. And the reason why I like to always go back to the basics is simply because fundamentals are the basis of everything, right? If you're an athlete, you can contest to, before you could do all the basketball between your legs, the fancy layups, the spin moves and things like that, you had to understand the fundamentals, the basics, right, of basketball. How to dribble, right? How to dribble with your left hand, right? You couldn't do that crossover if you didn't know how to maneuver the left hand, right? So everything goes back to fundamentals, because everything that you see that's fancy and nice all started with fundamentals. Please listen to that. Nobody got rich overnight, right? Well, I guess there may be some baby boomers, of course, that got rich daddies and rich granddaddies and stuff like that might have left them some of that old money. But for the majority of individuals like you and me, hey, we didn't have those silver spoons, right? So we got to understand the fundamentals. We got to understand it's learning a skill set is going to take time. We have to continue to educate ourselves and yourselves. And we're going to have to invest, and that's investing time. And that's also investing money on the education, the workshops, the trainings, different things like that to get precise in the right pattern, the right behaviors, the right classes and things like that. That is going to probably cost invest. But here, what I want to do with Trendz Nation, but before you get into any program or anything like that, I want to make sure in this group that, hey, I can give you everything you need to make the decision of which route you need to take and what's going to be best for you. And what I mean by that is Forex isn't for everyone. Learning a skill set of trading isn't for everyone, right? And the beauty of learning trading, period, right? Even though we do concentrate on foreign currency, you do also learn how to understand and mark stock charts, right? Cryptocurrency charts as well, right? We can trade Bitcoin, we could trade Tesla, right? We could trade the US dollar, we could trade the Japanese yen, because once you learn the skill set and understand the terminology, you understand the patterns, you see the reversals and trends in the market. Hey, any market I throw in front of you, and I'm going to show you here in a second how that can be very, very similar and things of that nature, okay? So let's go to, let me see if I can go to the next slide. Let me see, clicking on this joint, let me see, how do I go to the next chain? All right, let me see, let's do this. All right, so I'm about to go to the next one, all right? So what is Forex, right? Forex is the short term for foreign exchange, okay? So that's what Forex is. And foreign exchange is a market, right? And this market is where currencies are traded. You think about money. Okay, we're trading money. Money is exchanging from hands, from big banks to other big banks, from countries to countries, right? So you can imagine that this is the largest, most liquid financial market in the world, period, which averages a trade volume of $6.7 trillion per day. The Forex market is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, with the exception, of course, holidays. And the beauty of Forex is that you can trade on any smart device with adequate internet connection, right? You have to be connected to the net, you know, to place orders, to place trades, things like that. So looking at this visual here, you can see how the Forex market stands up to the New York Stock Exchange, Tokyo Stock Exchange, and also the London Stock Exchange, okay? You can see these things, okay? And the beauty of kind of what we're looking at, New York, Tokyo, and London are actually our 3 sessions that we trade in, right? These are the sessions that we trade in. Why? Because New York Stock Exchange, the New York banks open at I want to say from 8 to 5. And I'll actually go through that in a second. I got ahead of myself, but definitely going to talk about that. So remember, New York Stock Exchange, Tokyo, London. Remember New York, remember Tokyo / Asian, as I would call it, and London. All right. So what is traded, right? In foreign currency, these are the most traded currencies, okay? The euro, the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, the Great Britain pound, the US dollar, of course, the New Zealand dollar, the Canadian dollar, and the Swiss franc. Yes, you can also exchange the Mexican peso. Let me see what else. The any currency you could probably think of, you know, you have the ability to trade it. But these are just the most traded currencies in the market, the top traded currencies in the market. Okay. So, and I have the symbols here because once I look at charts, you may see me talk about EJ, right? Or UJ, right? And UJ is the US dollar versus the Japanese yen pair. Okay. And basically, and I'll talk more about pairs in another Forex lesson. Again, I want to keep things short and sweet to not overdo it in one session, because you need to gradually learn, starting from the fundamentals and basics, and then add to your terminology. All right. So when can you trade? Okay. So looking here, so basically what we've done when we look at the Sydney and Tokyo, right? Because 6 p.m. to 3 a.m., 7 p.m. to 4 a.m., we've basically just, instead of separating these two, we've created a session here called the Asian session, okay? Which goes from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m., okay? Right? And these markets are going to overlap, okay? Because the London market opens at 3 a.m. to 12 p.m., a New York open is 8 to 5. Okay. So as you guys can see throughout the day, these markets are opening and closing around the clock. That's why we say 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? And the market is open. That's different than the stock exchanges, because the stock exchanges open at 8 and close at 5 every day, right? Almost like normal office hours. So the market is always moving and money is always moving, right? These are the major sessions, and I'm actually going to update this right now because these are the 4, but we've now just made it 3, right? And that's the beauty of educating yourself, because these things change, right? And someone can say, hey, how can you just cut off a whole session? All right, let's talk about it. Okay, things change. Hey, let's make it simpler. We're just going to call this the Asian session. We're still covering the same times, right? Well, I have 2 different ones and they're only basically an hour apart. There's no need for that. You see what I'm saying? There's no need to have a 6 to 3 and a 7 to 4. There's no need, right? There's not like a 3 to 5 hour difference like London and New York is, right? London opens at 3, New York doesn't open till 8, right? So makes sense there. So who are the participants, right? And this is where it gets major. Your commercial and your central banks are major movers in the foreign exchange industry. Why? Because that's where your bag is at. Your bag is in the banks. The banks are moving your money. Your banks have traders to trade your money. The banks loan out your money to make money on it. And sometimes they make loans to government contractors. You see what I'm saying? So you know, your money could be going to a government contractor. You put 10,000 in the bank. Someone gets a 10,000 loan. They get your 10,000. They pay the bank back 15K. So the bank makes 5K. You might have made like $5. You know, and that's basically why this is called the secrets of the banks, right? Because they don't want you to know this, right? If they say, hey, if people learn how to trade, you know, the money like we're trading at a larger scale, then they won't need us anymore. They won't loan us their money for free, because that's what we do. We give our banks free money and allow them to make money off our money. And the crazy part, sometimes they charge you. Sometimes they charge you for banking. Hey, you ain't got enough money in here for me to move, so I'm going to charge you because you're not helping me out enough, right? That's insane, right? That's why we're in Forex, and also that's why we're in Bitcoin, because it's decentralized. So looking at something very small, right? Let's look about it, and let's look at these new rules of money, right? As I stated, they make thousands and you receive pennies. Trust me. Hey, I talked to a friend the other day, said, man, I couldn't believe this, right? New to Forex. He said, man, I made $40 this week. You know, for some, that's not a lot. For others, they know the power of what just happened to make an extra $40 from your smartphone in a week, okay? And the reason why I say this is because he said, man, I have more than $40,000 in the bank, and they pay me about 40 cents a month. And I said, wow, right? He said, man, I just made $40 this week, right? So basically that means myself, if I can keep that consistent, he said, I can make myself $160 extra a month, right? And he's just starting with a $100 account where he has 40,000 in a bank account, and they're giving him just those pennies. Wow. That's the power of trading. That's the power of investing, right? Profits are better than wages. Why? Because wages can help you make a living, and that's fine, right? Again, I'm not knocking the 9 to 5. If that's how you want to live, you just want to make a living, that's fine. But profits can help you make a fortune, and that's super fine. You see what I'm saying? And with technology these days, you can live both fine and super fine because we have the means to do it, right? You know, you choose what you choose to do, right? Continue to do that. But I do want to leave you with this. Warren Buffett said it best. If you don't find a way to make money in your sleep, you will work until the day you die, right? And I don't think anybody wants to do that, right? Looking at retirement, what's the retirement age, right? About 60s, right? You're in your 60s, now you're going to live your life. Let's talk about it. Let's start making moves right now. And this is what we're going to start at, all right? So what I'm about to bring up now, and I'm actually going to just Google Bitcoin. I'm actually going to just see how that works. I wonder how many people have Google Bitcoin right now. What is Bitcoin worth? 18K? Gosh almighty. I was putting people on at three grand. I was putting people on at $3,000. All right, so let's look at it. And this is, again, the reason why I like to use Google and stuff like that, because you can learn a bit or get some understanding, but you really won't be able to learn how it moves until you start understanding support, resistance, other terminology, Fibonacci, of course, as well as Elliott waves, and just understanding uptrends, downtrends, reversal patterns, something I like to call a smart money strategy. And I'm going to kind of briefly talk about that smart money strategy because it's basically where the bag is. Okay. So let's look at it. I'm not sure this source. I'm going to go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia usually give me a little saucy. All right. Let me see what a wick is at. Let's go to Investopedia. All right. I'm confident in their information. All right. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a digital currency created in January 2009 following the housing market crash. So boom, let's talk right there, okay? In life, you're going to have ups and downs, right? Just think about our seasons, right? You're going to have your springs, right? Who love spring? Going to have your summers, right? But sometimes you're going to have your cold winters, okay? But guess what comes after winter, right? Spring, right? Just like here you see there was a recession, but after recession comes expansion, right? And the possibility after expansion could come recession, right? And not to think so is naive, right? What goes up must come down, right? Things like that, okay? So it follows the ideas that was set out in a white paper by a mysterious person named Satoshi Nakamoto. The identity of the person or persons who created technology is still a mystery. Bitcoin offers the promise of lower transaction fees, which is true, than traditional online payment mechanisms and is operated by a decentralized authority, unlike government issued currencies. Hold on, y'all. I hope I see my Facebook was looking wacky. There are no physical Bitcoins, only balances kept on a public ledger that everyone has a transparent access to. This is the beauty of what is called the blockchain, okay? This ledger is called the blockchain. And basically, that's why you may have heard of Bitcoin miners, because Bitcoin miners are basically a system of computers or checkpoints where, you know, the blockchain confirms or denies that a transaction can be completed. So like a bank, there's no double spending error. And let me explain. If you pay with something that uses accounting and routing number, it usually takes 2 to 3 days to reflect on your account. So you have $100, you're paying 50, but it doesn't come out until Wednesday, and today's Monday, for example. Okay. So it's possible because on Tuesday, your account still shows 100. So you spend $60. And technically, you don't have 60, you only have 50 left because you have 50 pending to go. Okay. And then the bank allows you to spend it. The other money comes out. Now you have a negative balance plus a overdraft fee of $35. You see what I'm saying? Whereas with this digital currency and ledger, basically what it does is just verifies that you have the actual Bitcoin to buy or even sell. Okay. So if you have $100 worth of Bitcoin and you spend 50, right? The ledger has to go through a point of checkpoints and say, okay, yes, we checked this. Yes, he actually has it. Nothing's pending to go anywhere, nothing like that. So, hey, another confirmation, and the transaction goes through, and it's usually within an hour or less, right? Sometimes minutes, right? So now when you do that process, you try to make a duplicate of $60, the second one will be declined because it will state, hey, you don't have this money to send. You don't have this value to send, right? And that's one thing I also like about, like I said, with the blockchain technology. And while MoneyGram, Western Union, PayPal, and I want to say Cash App as well, a lot of these money apps that help you, kind of have your own bank as an app type things are utilizing this technology because it allows for, again, lower fees. Okay, so the companies, big banks, everybody saves money. Even you save money sending money. For example, when I withdraw money in Bitcoin, I pay about a $2 fee. If I were to withdraw from my Forex account to my bank, it's more like a $20 fee per transaction. See the difference, right? All right. So now what I also want to introduce everyone to is Forex Factory, right? And the reason why I want to talk about Forex Factory is a free website because I like to come here and look at the news. Nope, wrong one. Basically, I can see my news articles right there. But I like to look at the calendar, right? Because I look at this calendar daily if I plan on trading, so I can know, is this a good day to trade or is it a day I should stay away from, right? So if you can imagine, red folders means stay away, right? That means high impacted news is expected. That means if you're trading anything with Australian dollar in it, it could be Euro, AUD, USD, AUD. You probably want to stay away from it during this time frame because it's going to be very volatile and can move sporadically. Okay, but if I'm trading the euro, like Euro USD, hey, Euro USD is looking good. USD CAD, GBP USD, GU, AU, EU is all looking good. Even EJ, Euro JPY. Hey, yellow folders, low impact news. Hey, I'm good. Some stuff that's probably not going to impact the market on a big enough scale. Nah, I'm good. I can trade that, right? So that's one thing also about trading. Yes, it's technical, but it's also fundamentals, right? Because these things can also dictate price and price movement, right? I know you may not be, I'm not into politics and stuff like that. Me neither. But I do want to be aware if I'm trading, trying to make a bag, that I'm not going to work against myself. Okay. All right. And the next thing I want to bring up now is Tradingview.com. And Tradingview.com, again, is a free, it's a free app. You can download the app too, as well as it's free to register. And basically, this is what I utilize to mark up my charts when I am practicing markups, looking for zones and things like that to get in the market, as well as just kind of looking at different things when I'm making moves. And if you're seeing this on Facebook or even on Zoom, it's running real slow because I'm streaming on multiple platforms. So I do apologize for any lag you may see, but definitely get into the nitty gritty, and we're going to keep this ball rolling. Okay, so we're looking at this on a 30-minute chart. I actually want to bring this more to either the 4-hour or the day. Okay, and let me explain to what I mean by going to a 4-hour or daily chart. Okay, basically what I mean, oh man, it's been crushing that zone, that level of support right now. Wow, now explain that. But a 4-hour chart for this, for example, means each candlestick, which is this little squiggly bars right here, each individual one is called a candlestick. Basically, each candlestick represents a duration of time. This basically means at 4 hours. So at noon, this is where it opened, and at 3:59 it closed right here. And then at 4 it opened right there, and after 4, after 8 o'clock it closed right there, right? So sometimes it moves far, but actually this one, it actually opened here, dropped all the way down here, went up there, and still closed there. Okay, that basically showed you, and it looks like a hammer, right? Because we see this piece up here in the long handle. That basically usually means that the bears are still in play, meaning, hey, I'm sorry, the bulls are still in play and we're going to the upside. Okay, and as you can see here, had zones set out from past history, and we see price respect that zone. It broke through, next candle opened and closed above. I'm still not entering yet. Okay, it broke through, confirmation 1. I still need 2 confirmations at minimum. Next confirmation, next candle opened above and closed above. So I'm buying at 14,978. I'm putting in the buy. It went up, came back down, another possible re-entry, right? So now I'm in the buy on 2 positions. And guess what it does? Hey, nothing goes straight up. But look at that, right? Like we said, that was 14,950. And we're currently at 18,000. That's over 3,100 moves, right? That's a $3,100 difference, right? So even it's just amazing to see what Bitcoin is doing. And again, I do want to, again, look at what's happening. And I'm not fully going to mark up this chart because I know I have a lot of beginners on. And my goal is to not make it too complicated early, because if I can start saying terminology and jargon that you're not familiar with, it can be discouraging. I try not to do that. I try to simplify things, so to encourage, because it is easier than you think if you're willing to apply yourself. Simple as that. Ooh. But looking at Bitcoin, what's next for Bitcoin? We could see, of course, hit our match our all-time highs. I can't remember what the red for. I'm thinking red was the monthly, blue was the daily, gold was the hourly. I have to go back. I didn't label them like I should have, but different zones. Like this could be the red. I want to say the red was the daily support and resistance. Blue was might have been a 4-hour support and resistance, and gold might have been the monthly support and resistance, right? So basically, once it gets in between these zones, we know, hey, it could potentially touch this space again or this space, because this is where it's respected price so much. And history does continue to repeat itself over and over again. Even when creating all-time highs, right, we still can see retracements, right, back to where it should be. Like I said, we may see expansion, but we possibly will see some recession. But even after recession, we could then again see expansion, right? Again, not to think so is naive, okay? Let's make sure we're open-minded and we got our books open and we're willing to learn and ready to learn something today, y'all. So just really want to leave y'all with that. Again, I want to keep these short, want to keep these sweet, and enable you to be able to digest all of this information. Again, this is going to be recorded on my YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, ring the notification bell so you can get updates anytime the videos come out, especially if you can't catch them live. You'll know, hey, this is the one from yesterday. Boom, I'm on. This is the one from early today. Boom, I can catch it when I can. All right. So again, I appreciate everyone coming out. I want to see everybody at the top, y'all, because it is the bottom that's way too crowded. Y'all stay safe.